Hello and welcome back! Today I decided to recreate one of the Met Gala dresses, and the one I chose is the one Camila Morrone wore. Let's have a quick look at the dress. So at the top she wears a white big collar and it kinda looks like a tablecloth, and underneath it she wears the mermaid style long dress. And it is made of black velvet, but up here it's a different color, it's more like a skin tone, and I think it's made of jersey. I'm going to start with making the big collar, and for the fabric I went to the thrift store and I bought this tablecloth, and it doesn't look exactly like the original, but I think it's the same vibe, so I guess it will work. And when I was at the thrift store I also found this very beautiful brocade fabric, and if you want to see me turn it into something very elegant and pretty, definitely subscribe to my channel so you won't miss that video. And for the color, I'm now first going to make a mock-up to know where I have to place the hole for the neck and also how big I want the square to be. So let's do that. So I just take a t-shirt and trace out the neckline, then I cut out the neck hole, and at the back I cut a little slit in the neck hole. Then I just mark the mock-up at my waist, fold it in half twice, and make this marking also on the other edges. Connect those 2 points with a straight line and just cut off the excess. I finished to make the mock-up for the collar, and I now have a small problem because my tablecloth is a lot bigger than the square I actually need. So I'm going to make the tablecloth a bit smaller, but that will leave me with the seam on the shoulder, but I can't change that, so let's make the tablecloth smaller. I'm so concentrated right now. I did it! Let's hope it looks good. The two sides are sewn together and it's looking nice and neat. So next I'm just going to zigzag stitch this seam so it won't fray and cut off the excess fabric. This is looking very nice. So next I'm just going to draw on the neck hole, sew in some bias tape, cut out the neck hole and finish it off. I finished to attach the bias tape, so now the neckline is looking nice and neat. And now to finish it off, I'm going to take this white lace trim and sew it on the neckline and also add a little button in the back to be able to close it. This is the finished color and I think it looks very nice. So next I can start working on the pattern for the dress. To make this pattern I first have to take some measurements. So first I'm going to measure out over the bust. Then I measure out the waist. Then the hip. And then I measure the distance in between those points, so from up here until the waist and from the waist to the hip. With those measurements I just made this little diagram, and then I drawed a straight line onto paper and marked the bust, waist and hip point, and then drawed perpendicular lines to those points and marked out the measurements I measured on myself and just connected those points, made the curves a little bit more curvy, and just added 1 centimeter seam allowance, made everything a little bit smoother and just cut it out. Then I just cut off a piece at the top of the pattern because I want a pattern for the skin tone part and for the black part of the dress. Then I just added seam allowance to that, cut it out, and then I had my pattern. The pattern is finished and my fabric also finally arrived. It's this black velvet and it's stretchy but only in one direction. And the other fabric I got is this almost skin tone jersey, and it's for the upper part of the dress. And now I'm just going to cut out the pieces. I have this new rotary cutter and it just makes cutting so much easier. It's incredible. The fabric is stretchy in this direction, so I'm going to place the pattern piece on there like this. This fabric feels a little bit like neoprene. I finished to cut out all the pieces, but I noticed that I messed up cutting out the front piece of the upper part of the dress, because this is how it's supposed to look and this is how it looks. The reason for that is that I was supposed to put the pattern piece on fold on this line and I did it on this line. And I think what I'm going to do is to cut it apart in the center and then sew it back together on the correct seam, and that should fix the problem. I managed to fix the front of the top, so next I'm going to make some straps. I have two straps, so now I'm going to take the front pieces and put them together, right sides facing each other, and sew them together on the top edge. And while I'm doing that, I put the straps in between those two layers so they get sewn in at the same time. I'm just sewing this with a very narrow zigzag stitch so the fabric will still be stretchy after it's sewn. The front is sewn together and I also understitched and pressed it so it's lying nice and flat. And next I'm going to take the back piece and hem the top edge and then put the back piece in between the two layers of the front piece and sew up the side seams so I get one long piece. The front and back are sewn together and I just tried it on and it's a little loose, so I'm just going to take in the side seams a little and then try it on again and hopefully it fits. So I just pinned the top edge in place once again and now I'm sewing another side seam a few centimeters away from my previous side seam. The top now fits very nice, so now I just have to figure out how long I want the straps to be, and I think this length should be fine. So now I'm just going to attach them on the top. The top is finished and I think it looks very nice. And if you would want to make just a simple tube top for summer, you could do exactly the same steps except for closing the seam down here. At the same time you close the seam up here, and then you have a nice tube top that is lined in the front. And now I'm going to move on to working with the velvet pieces I cut out, and I'm just going to sew them together on the side seams. I have to rethread the machine, it's the wrong color. I'll be right back. ready to go. I just tried it on and it's way too loose, so I'm just going to take in the side seams, try it on again, and hopefully it fits. And if it doesn't, I'm just gonna repeat that process until it fits. This dress now fits like a glove, and I also pinned the top onto the black part of the dress to kind of see how it looks together. And now I'm just going to take this off and then we can go on. I just took the two pieces back apart, and now I just have to finish the raw edges of the black dress part. And I finally bought a serger, and I'm so excited to try it out. I just have to change the thread color to black because the fabric is black, and then I'm going to serge these edges. The edges are now very nicely finished, and it just makes me so happy to not zigzag stitch. It's just so annoying and it takes so long, and I'm just so happy to have a serger. But next I'm going to attach the top onto the top edge of this dress part. It is attached together, and the most important thing, it fits. So now I'm just going to serge this raw edge and then we can move on. This part of the dress is now finished, so next I can move on to the part that goes basically on the bottom edge of this piece. And what I'm going to do is basically make a circle skirt for my legs, and therefore I'm going to take this part of the dress and turn it inside out and then measure across the bottom edge. And I won't measure out the triangle, just a straight line across this bottom edge. And that's pretty exactly 30 centimeters. And now I have to multiply the 30 by 2 to get the whole circumference, which is 60. Then I have to divide 60 by 2 pi, which is 9.5, to get the radius. To add seam allowance, I have to take a centimeter away from that measurement, which is 8.5 centimeters. And now I'm just going to take the rest of my fabric and cut out a big circle that is just as big as I can make it, and in the middle of the big circle will be a small circle with a radius of 8.5 centimeters. I'm trying to fold this in half, but this fabric is just really giving me a very hard time. I just realized it's probably a lot easier to fold it the other way around so that the not so sticky sides are facing each other. This just made my life so much easier. Alright, let's fold it in half again. And now the sticky sides are facing each other again. No. My plan actually was to fold the fabric in half twice, but this fabric is just resistant to folding it. So I just folded it once, and now I'm going to cut out half a circle and not just a quarter circle, but the measurements are the same. It's just more work, but it's less work than folding this fabric in half. So I'm just going to cut that out. I now have this big circle, and I also have the rest of the dress, and now I somehow have to attach them together. I think I have a plan. I'm just going to pin them together the way I think they should look in the end, and then try to move the pins how it's supposed to be sewn, and hopefully it will be attached in the correct place. This is far from perfect. I managed to pin it together, and honestly, I just tried everything. I tried making a pattern, I tried measuring it out and drawing it on there. I tried aligning the pieces, and it just all didn't work, and now I just eyeballed it. I just put it on there and tried to put it in the middle, and now I'm just going to try it on and see if it looks good. And if it does, I'm just going to hand sew it on there, because I don't know how to sew this on the machine. So let's do that. I tried it on and it looks okay, so now I'm going to hand sew it together, and I put my cutting mat in between the layers so I won't accidentally sew the front and back together. So let's go. I don't like hand sewing. It's a new day, and I just finished to attach the top part of the dress onto the skirt. So now there are only two things left to do, and the first is to cut the skirt just a little bit shorter because it's a little bit too long, and the second is to hem it, and then the dress is finished, so let's do it. It is finished, and I can tell you, I struggled so much trying to make this look like the original. I've been just constantly looking at a reference picture and another reference picture and a picture from a different perspective, just trying to make the seams be in the correct spot and trying to make the color be the correct size, and it's just been so much struggle to just get it right. But I just tried it on, and it just looks so similar to the original, and I'm just so amazed. It's incredible, if I might say so. But I'm just so happy it looks so nice. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos. And without further ado, let's have a look at the finished dress.